Alright family, welcome back to BrainFLoTv. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button please. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on BrainFLoTv. Have you been keeping up with this trial? Alright, we've been keeping up with this Young Thug YSL RICO trial. This one is about day 3. What happened? It was pretty eventful. It'll have some of day 2 in it. Just stick around. Shout out to the Associated Press and Fox 5. Testimony started on Wednesday in the 3rd day of the Young Thug trial. The prosecution brought in Detective Mark Belknap, who works in the Atlanta Police Department's gang unit, as their first witness. The court will designate Detective Belknap as an expert in criminal street gang recognition, investigation, identification, and practices, said Chief Judge Ervil Granville of the Fulton County Superior Court. Now, that means he is just an expert at gangs. First person brought in to testify on behalf of the state. Belknap talked about his work history, his background with gangs. He introduced state evidence number 1, a PowerPoint presentation that outlined the gang activities. He also shared what he has learned about the initiation process, how they operate internally, distinguishing characteristics, and why people typically join these gangs. What that goal or money or power or respect is to increase their own reputation, increase their own ability to retaliate and do violence to the extent that it keeps someone else from doing violence against them. In other words, hit your ops so hard they won't ever want to F with you. He then testified about the history of these street gangs with a large focus on Raised on Cleveland, or the ROC crew. If you know anything about that, you will know that that is how Young Thug started out, because he was raised on Cleveland. So they just called themselves Raised on Cleveland. That sounds like some neighborhood stuff, right? Okay, but they're now trying to say that Raised on Cleveland, or the ROC crew, graduated and became YSL. He also discussed some of the biggest challenges investigators face when they are prosecuting these gang crimes. Potential witnesses or victims that are cooperating with the police, they can be outed easily on social media to a large number of people in a short amount of time, thereby making it very difficult for people to testify or for people to even want to testify. Belknap says that the ROC crew formed sometime around 2006-2007 in the Cleveland area of Atlanta. He testified about the eventual YSL tie-in. They were based in the same area as the previous ROC crew, and what we discovered was that many of the members claiming to be YSL also previously claimed to be crew members of the ROC crew. In other words, they was down from day 1, from way back when. The detective was among the first witnesses of potentially several hundred that are expected to take the stand in this trial of rapper Young Thug and 5 associates. Prosecutor says are all a part of the YSL gang and now face charges for violating Georgia's anti-racketeering and gang laws. I don't know about that potentially several hundred witnesses. Are they planning on calling several hundred people to the stand to testify to say what? Thug of them got that many enemies? Are there that many people that are willing to come to court to take the stand to say they are garbage, they need to be out of the city, they cause nothing but disruption and pain? Or is this number just a mistake? Anyways, Fulton County prosecutor Adrian Love didn't dispute that, Young Thug is a talented artist. She said he is. But she said that he exploited his gift for a darker purpose, using his songs, clout, and social media posts to promote and establish the dominance of his gang, Young Slime Life, or YSL. Through that music, through that blessing, the evidence will show Jeffrey Williams led that group of people who wreaked havoc on Fulton County. Love told the jurors during her opening statement on Monday. Defense attorney Brian Steele, who is representing Young Thug, acknowledged that his client's songs mentioned killing the police and all that, people being shot and all that, drugs and drive-by shootings and all that. But he said that those are just words that he rhymed in a reflection of his rough upbringing and not a chronicle of his own activities. He's not doing all that. He's just singing songs about it. They want you to fear music that talks about killing and about drugs, Steele told the jury in his opening statement on Tuesday. But he said, you don't have no need to fear it. It is art. You don't like it, you don't have to listen to it. But this is America, and this is art. Did I mention that Young Thug was a part of the Grammy winner for This Is America? This is America. Won't catch me slipping up. Well, anyways, let's get back to this. Steele mentioned that Young Thug's collaboration with high-profile artists, appearances on television, and numerous awards and riches that came with it. The rapper is so busy and so successful that we couldn't even have the time or the motivation to lead a gang, is what his attorney said. He's not sitting there telling people to kill people. He doesn't need their money. Jeffrey is worth tens of millions of dollars, Your Honor. Steele also noted that YSL is the name of Young Thug's successful record label, but Love said that the actions outlined in the indictment have nothing to do with a recording label. The gang began about a decade ago in Atlanta's Cleveland Avenue neighborhood, born of an internal rift in the preceding gang, and Young Thug emerged as its leader, Love argued. Love is the prosecution. This was she telling to the courtroom. This was she selling to the jury. The gang's members were associated, in fact, using common identifiers, language, symbols, and colors, and they knew who their leader was, and they knew the repercussions of not obeying their leader. Remember, she said Young Thug is the leader. The people who have been affected directly and indirectly by this gang violence represents the lives that were swallowed up by that crater that was created by YSL in the Cleveland Avenue community. Young Thug was born into poverty in a crime-ridden projects where he developed a strong distrust for the criminal justice system, Steele said. This is Young Thug's attorney now. He said Thugger was born in a crime-ridden housing projects area where he developed a strong distrust for the criminal justice system. His family moved to the Cleveland Avenue area when he was 16 years old, and he got out through hard work and his talent. But he didn't forget his roots, and he has been extremely generous with his good fortune. He's not the crater. He's trying to pull people out of poverty, Steele said. His attorney said. The indictment charges of all the defendants with conspiring to violate the Racketeering, Influenced, and Corrupt Organization Act, or the RICO. Love, the prosecution, acknowledged that may sound complicated, but told the juror that it's quite simple. Check it out. The members of the gang committed crimes, including murder, armed robbery, aggravated assault, and theft to further the gang's mission. Those actions and others that aren't crimes, rap lyrics, social media posts, flashing gang signs, combined to form a pattern of illegal activities. They endeavored to do some illegal stuff to get a bunch of stuff that didn't belong to them. Prosecutors have made clear that they intend to use rap lyrics from songs by the defendant to help make this case. This is a controversial tactic though, but Fulton County Superior Court Chief Judge Oral Granville earlier this month said he'd conditionally allow certain lyrics as long as prosecutors can show that they're linked to the crime that is alleged in the indictment. So you can't just go willy-nilly in through all his songs and say, hey, look, he's talking about fuck the police right here. Hey, look, in this song, he says he's shooting somebody in the head. In this song, he says they can't do that. They have to actually pull up a particular crime that is in the indictment and then pull up a song that matched it, that probably was released around the same time that crime was committed, to show a correlation that they were actually committing these crimes and then going to the studio and rapping about it so everybody else knew that it was them. Prosecutors have said that they're not pursuing Young Thug and others because of violent lyrics. That ain't why we're after them. We didn't chase the lyrics to solve the murders. We chased the murders. And as the evidence will show in the process, we found the lyrics to match the murders. One of those murders that is expected to feature heavily during this trial is the January 2015 killing of Donovan Thomas, who prosecutors say was a major figure in a rival gang and whose death is said to have sparked an escalation of violence in the Atlanta area. 2 of the 6 people currently on trial are charged with murder in his killing, and Young Thug is accused of being behind it all and renting the car that was used in the drive-by shooting, and also giving them money after the act was committed to go to Miami and lay low. Many of the lyrics, some social media posts, text conversations, and online messages cited in the indictment have been taken out of context, and they misrepresent to seem sinister when they are not, is what Young Thug's lawyer jumped in and said. Y'all taking this all out of context. Y'all just abusing these lyrics. They don't even apply to what's going on right now. He and other defense attorneys, they tried during opening statements to poke holes in the state's case, saying that the police realized or relied on jailhouse informants who had every reason to tell them what they wanted to hear. They also hammered the state's use of some of the lyrics, saying that the art that helped their clients better their circumstances is now being improperly used against them. It was singing about rough life and rough times in these projects and in these streets that got Jeffrey up out of poverty. But now you guys are using the same lyrics to actually sink him, take away his achievements. Opening statements began on Monday and they continued Tuesday before a jury that took nearly 10 months to select. While all that is going on, they accidentally showed a couple of the jurors' faces on Tuesday on television, and on Wednesday on television rather, and that was not supposed to happen. So now with those jurors being exposed, I don't know if the case is going to stall and they're going to have to choose some more jurors. Now you got to remember, when they did the jury selection process, they don't just choose 12. This pool had over 600 people to choose from, and they chose and they chose and they chose. So they chose 12, but I'm sure they also chose 12 backup jurors as well, right? So maybe they're going to have to let those people go whose faces were shown and put 3 more people in, or however many more people in for the faces that were shown. So again, the trial is expected to last months. Only 6 of the original 28 defendants are on trial after others either took plea deals and got out or were separated, and they will be tried later on. Now, among those who took a plea deal, everybody knows this, Gunna, whose given name is Sergio Kitchens, and he was charged with a single count of racketeering conspiracy and entered an Alford plea last December, meaning he maintains his innocence, but he recognizes that it is his best interest to plead guilty. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Opening statements proved to be just as tedious as everything that led up to the trial. Fulton County Chief Judge Ural Granville admonished one juror who reportedly had car problems for pushing the start back by nearly half an hour. So a juror member came late, and then the start time got pushed back about an hour and a half. I'll tell you something about Granville, the judge that's overseeing this. He is a military man, a career military man. Not one of them people who served 2 years and got out. This man did decades in the military, but stay tuned for that video because we're going to give you his background so you understand who's presiding over this trial. Back to this though. Fulton County Chief Deputy District Attorney Adrian Love, the one who's prosecuting it, finally began opening statements telling jurors that the evidence would lead them to conclude that the YSL organization is tied to the National Bloods gang and participated in organized violence. They committed crimes such as armed robbery, carjacking, motor vehicle theft, theft by receiving stolen goods, stolen firearms, possession of a machine gun, narcotic sales, and a lot more. Last but certainly not least, murder, Love said. It was during a slideshow presentation by prosecutors that Young Thug's attorneys objected and called for a mistrial because of multiple inaccurate slides on the prosecutor's PowerPoint. So a lot of y'all might be wondering, yo, didn't they call for a mistrial already? The judge shot it down. They didn't get it. But why did they call for a mistrial? It was because the prosecution started out with a PowerPoint slide, and as they were going through it, you know, Thug's lawyers were over there saying, objection, objection. Yo, there's a lot of inaccurate slides up there that the jury is seeing, and they're already forming their opinion, which is biased against our client. Right. He also says that the defense was not allowed to review the material before Monday. Wow. The judge paused the trial and broke the jury for lunch around 1:30 p.m. The court reconvened with the judge denying the motion for dismissal, but instead he instructed the jury to disregard parts of the presentation and warned prosecutors it risked having the whole slideshow thrown out. See, that's messed up, because check it. If I say to you, right, if I say fuck you, and then I come back and I say, okay, disregard that, are you going to forget that I said fuck you? No. So this is a tactic that prosecution uses, or any attorney uses in a courtroom. They will say stuff they know they're not supposed to say, and they'll get it as long as the jury hears it. And once the jury hears it, you can't take that away from what someone has already heard. So the judge will come back and try to clean it up by saying, disregard. But disregard is too late. I've already heard it. I've already formed my opinion based on it, and I'm not going to disregard it. So defense attorneys are expected to continue outlining their case before more witnesses are called. Again, the trial is projected to last a few months, and it will likely include testimony from several high-powered music industry individuals. We've given you those names on another video that came before this video. Stay tuned for more. That was day 3, and this is how it's going down. Do you think that Young Thug and his crew are gonna beat this case? Do you see Young Thug coming home anytime soon, or do you think that they're going to throw the book at him, make an example out of him, and put him away for a while? Leave your comments in the comment section below, and I'll catch you on the next video. It's BrainFLoTv. Hit that subscribe button. I'm out. Peace.